Boom. We are here. Thank you so much. Teo Pellizzeri is joining me from Sydney. How are you, Teo?
Great, Nick Stoll. How are you?
Very good. But where the big question on everyone's lips here in Barcelona, they're asking one question, Teo. ¿Dónde está Josh Parrish?
Josh Parrish, ¿dónde está? Where's Josh Parrish?
Where is Josh Parrish? But he told us he would be on. I mean, after his rant about not having cattle, do we have cattle last week?
Well, we moved kickoff time for him. We're starting late for Josh.
I know. And look, and the comments are flying in late, still late. A lot of people making the point that, we can't get in trouble for being late if we move the kickoff time. John Turner asked a really good question. Did Joe Simon not pay his internet bill this week? Look, it was on its last
legs.
That's
apparent because he's not here.
Yeah, it was on its last legs, but it was struggling a bit. Blake Hampton about Josh Parrish. He's on the campaign trail. Yeah,
that's a great point. Barnaby Josh, I heard he was actually going out to a march of some sort today to give a little speech. I don't know how the rest of it went. Maybe that's why he's not been able to join us. I don't know.
I've just done that. I just saw that clip. And I just love, before she gave, I don't know who this woman is, and good luck to her, guys. Before she gave the microphone to Albanese, she said, I don't want any attacks on me or my organization. The best part about it was that she said her first. She was like, you're not allowed to attack me. So, Teo, I don't want any attacks on me or the MAFFS organization for the show.
Well, I think you've come to the right. You've come to the right spot here. So.
Daniel makes point that Josh perished. Love a good.
Oh, come on! Wow.
Who's running their microwave tonight?
Nick Devano.
Don't tell me that my internet's having a struggle. I just had to kick about 8 people out of my house to do this record. But yeah, look, it's ruining a little bit of a segment because obviously we're going to have Q&A with broadcasting legend Josh Sidelines.
We set up the whole show. I pour my heart and soul into the Google Doc every week. None of you read it, and now you can't even follow it.
I know. It is a bit of an issue. But look, should we persevere? Let us know in the comments if you see Josh Parrish. I'd like the speculation. Maybe Josh Parrish has a burner account that he's currently explaining where he is somewhere on the internet. But I
was going to say, which Whitsunday Island has Josh named his burner account after?
Look, guys, we're going to need your comments. This is what happens. It's the Make Australian Football Fun Society. Maybe some people are tuning in for the first time. 15 million listeners every week. There's bound to be 1 or 2 new people show up every now and again. But basically, we love your ideas. Last week, I think Joe Simon brought up the fact that chain nets should be a big thing. And this week, I don't know if you saw in the F1 derby. I can't remember what's the highway that goes from
F3 derby.
Yes. F3. Yeah. You just put it in Google Maps. I don't know which is the exact highway. But basically, there was a shot from Brian Caltech that appeared to he looked like he just rocketed in, but it hit that little post that is behind the goal holding up the net, right? And then it cannoned off. And, apparently Daniel McBreen was up in celebration. Simon Hill almost thought it went in. Half the crowd thought it went in. What we needed in that moment, Joe Simon was right. A chain net. If you hear the net, chain, that would we would have solved that problem. So already we're ahead of the curve, Australian football,
you've reminded me of an incident I had in a game this season, Stoll, where it was Perth versus Victory in the A-League Women, the nightcap over in the West, where a kid behind the goal, this is at the left of screen, throws a ball in the air as the ball is bobbling around the 6-yard box. And I go, off the crossbar, not realizing that the ball I've seen is the kid who threw it up in the air behind the goal, when in fact the ball had not hit the crossbar. And thank God it did not go in for a goal. And it wasn't a major highlight because I was quite simply calling the wrong ball.
Have you ever done a Kerem Bullet kind of celebrate a goal and it wasn't a goal, or you haven't seen the flag or something like that? Like, have you ever gone a little bit too far on that?
Yeah, back in the web radio days, there was a game at Lakeside. Again, Victory Women. Funnily enough, I think it was against Perth, the same 2 teams. But look, I'm going to blame the ref here because Steph Catley, back when she was playing for the Victory, so it's a long time ago, Steph Catley scores what looks like a perfectly reasonable goal, no celebration, offside, and I'm going off and wondering, hang on, why is no one celebrating? And we watch it back. It was the ABC game, and it's like, She was miles on side. It's just the wrong call. But there in the moment, and this is before people had smartphones that could stream, I'm watching this back on ABC iView the next day going, damn it, I've been had. So at least now you find that out in the moment as opposed to finding it out 24 hours later.
I was listening to Real Madrid versus Manchester City, or Manchester City versus Real Madrid the other week on Spanish radio. I was watching it, of course, on Stan. You can see it on Stan. Stan not available here in Barcelona, but I have my ways. Anyway, I was watching it, and what happens is they have like a little kind of Morse code sound when a goal has gone in at the other game, right? That to alert you that there's been a goal, right? And Spanish commentary, they go on a million miles an hour.
These are the only two people left in the world using Morse code: Spanish football and the Russian military. And every now and then, Russia gets a communicator. So, Valladolid have taken the lead against Las Palmas.
What was amazing? This guy was going on this epic rant about Bellingham has got the ball and he's attacking the other thing, and then another guy in the studio accidentally hit the Morse code, and then everyone just stopped and was like, "Oh, goal!" And he just goes, "Sorry." Wasn't
hang on, stall. I'm getting a message.
Oh, wait, should we play the intro music? Oh. Let us know in the comments who you think it is. That was very El Chiringuito, that music. Welcome to the show. It's better to show up late than not at all. Josh, Sidelines, Parish. Josh Paris está aquí. Vamos, chicos. Josh, explain yourself. Is there a stigma around MAFFS?
Yeah, there's definitely a stigma. No, unfortunately, there were some intermittent microwaves that rear their ugly head. Some background radiation. So my efforts to join were stymied, but I'm here now. And
are you still living in a haunted house where the doors open on their own as well?
I've barricaded the door, so if this one opens, then we've seriously got some poltergeist level activity happening in the background.
You've missed an unbelievable start. We've basically fixed Australian football. We've come up with a billion ideas. The first 7 minutes of this, they are talking about this all over the world. So much we've done so far. Look, we should get into what made Australian football fun this week, as we like to do. Blake Hampton says simultaneous kickoffs are fun. Don't know if we'll catch on outside Australia, but we might be on to something. Yes, once again, the A-League leads the way. Simultaneous kickoffs to the side the last day of the season, but not quite the last day of the season. But you guys, fans of simultaneous kickoffs? Josh, I mean, you probably like a kickoff that's about 5 or 10 minutes later than it's scheduled to be, but that's just more the Josh Parrish sideline style.
Well, I remember back in the Fox Sports days, games used to kick off exactly 7 minutes after the scheduled start time, which was very great for the late rollers in like yours truly. But
great for the pedants as well, Josh. There was an entire industry built on, well, if another A-League game can't kick off on time, like seriously, every week it was right there as a free hit. People, you're smart, Josh. You worked it out. 7 minutes after the scheduled time, they do the walkout, they do the lineup, they kick the game off. Next stop. But some people are like, 7 p.m. means 7 p.m. Damn it, I've got places to be.
Which obviously you don't.
Delivered that in the style of Bruce Willis in Die Hard. Come out to the coast. We'll have a great time. Come out to Amy Park. We'll have a walkout. We'll hear about
Josh. Before you came on the show, and look, we should say we're getting a bit of audio feedback. Can Parrish turn up his mic, please? Quieter than a mouse, Parrish. We want to hear you more. The people are clamoring for you. But
typical low volume Parrish. I've always called him that.
there was a lot of speculation.
Coming through now?
Oh, yeah, it's a bit better.
Can you hear me, Bucks? Can you hear me, Bucks?
Let us know if that's appropriate level. Blake Hampton also made the shout that you were on the campaign trail. Confirm or deny?
Yes. No, I've been kissing babies, shaking hands.
Wow, so easy to get a straight answer out of you, Josh. You're not cut out for this political game, my friend. You're not meant to confirm or deny whether you're out on the political trail.
Yeah. Well, it's important to Australian working families.
My priorities mixed up, Teo, and I started kissing hands and shaking babies. So they've decided to bench me for a few weeks.
Run the Memes says, as far as Josh is concerned, let 1,000 podcasts play. Great shout. Ben Smith, I can't hear Josh over the sound of the microwave 3 rooms away.
Yeah, that's because the West is cooking up another interesting back page, I'm sure.
Yeah. But look, how did you guys find the Saturday of simultaneous kickoffs? Look, just kind of, I know a lot of people are for it. I am definitely for it. But previously, there had been some kind of one of the reasons they didn't want to do it was because there was this idea that if you spread out the games, basically you get more viewers across the week because people watch, especially when it's kind of the important thing. I really like the simultaneous kickoff. I like to double screen. I like to, when even like a kind of red zone feed where you have the goals coming in and that kind of thing. But what did you think? Did you think it was a fun kind of way to end round, or not quite end the season, but effectively end the season?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah. I like it. I like the feeling that
really tapped into a hotbed issue here, Stoll.
I hated it. What a disgrace! What a disgrace having every game happen at once.
Look, I'll be perfectly honest. For the last 7 weeks, I've been multi-screening due to a certain other football league that also competes for the eyeballs. So this is no great shakes. Multi-screen is all part and parcel.
I feel like multi-screening as well is something that people are pretty used to. Like, even boomers can kind of work out multi-screening and that type of thing.
Stoll. You would be shocked how many people haven't even worked out that 10 play is free. Like, the games aren't on free to wear. I don't care if it's... I want it on dinosaur TV,
Yeah. I
didn't realize the antenna industry or the coat hanger in the back of your TV industry was such a vital thing.
Mate, I was an absolute expert back in the day at putting in the old interior aerials and moving them around. Like, God, it does make you feel old when you think about like how much time I used to spend moving the aerial around so I could get SBS, so I could watch Australia under 20s play at 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh, geez, those were the days. But yeah, it's an exciting time. You know what's amazing? I was speaking to a girl who's in my class. She's about 20 years old, 21 years old. And
we are live.
I told her that when I was growing up, that there were 5 channels on TV. There was, SBS, ABC, 7, 9, and 10. She was like, what? 5 channels? Like, what? Like, she could not fathom that we were so poor back in the day that we only had 5 channels from which to watch. But anyway, it's incredible. Look how technology has happened. Now 15 million people tune into this podcast. Simon Vin says, I feel you, Stoll, and different channels requiring different angles of the aerial. Yeah, what was up with that? Why was 7 really good in like this position? But then, I needed to move for SBS, and then 10, and then, what? Anyway,
made you feel
I'm
like
glad
you're
we moved
water
past
divining with the 2 rods, like trying to lead you to the promised land.
I mean, the short answer is the frequencies. Like, you can drive, if you drive across the Nullarbor, there will be certain points where the radio frequencies dip, and you can basically go through each of the major cities while driving across the Nullarbor, because that's how the radio waves dip and rise again.
5 p.m. Sunday, I'm loving it, says Nets Mitro. He's referring to the fact that the elimination final, the Melbourne Derby elimination final, has been moved because Orthodox Easter, I was about to say Greek Easter, you know what I mean. Orthodox Easter proved too powerful once again. Christos Anesti, and we have moved the A-League. So it's gone to 5 p.m. Sunday, which is good. It means more people can attend. I like a 5 p.m. Sunday kickoff.
I'm shocked that people aren't in just utter uproar that the woke A-League moved to accommodate this. The state federations have been belligerently putting games on Orthodox Easter for years and years and years and ignoring their constituents and doing what they think is right for them. But as soon as the APL comes along, these progressives stole listening to people. That's not how we do it in the state feds, mate. That's not how it gets done.
It's what was missing from the Ollie Roos discourse last week. We didn't blame woke. That should have been the first thing that should have happened. Is the Ollie Roos failure was to do with woke. That's the easiest way to avoid criticism. It's just go, mate, woke. But honestly, everyone who finished outside of the finals should be blaming woke. This week,
to be fair, I can think of one club that probably unironically is.
Joseph Ciccone says, look at you, Stoll, in Barcelona, from humble beginnings in Surrey Hills. Mate, I grew up in even more humble beginnings in Bondi. And then Joseph says something in Greek, which embarrassingly I can't read, which is good because my young people were crying right now that my Greek is significantly worse than my Spanish.
I reckon it's Happy Easter style.
I would hope so.
I'm gonna just go out on a limb.
Can you imagine? It's the most defamatory thing ever. All right, from now on, we are not putting up other language comments. Because you imagine someone just runs down crazy, and we're just like, "Yep, great. Let's get that up. Nice, get that up there." One way to do it. Look, guys, I don't know. This is a bit of a, as opposed to the more structured episodes, a bit of a choose your own adventure. Where would you like to go with this, Teo? What made Australian football fun for you this week?
No, that is actually a good question. Look, when did the weekend start? What was the first game of the weekend? Friday? Thursday?
Yes. It was Brisbane 3, Adelaide United 4. We had the Great Barrier Chief scored a goal. We also had Do you know what made Australian football fun for me, Stoll?
Yeah. I heard someone refer to Tom Waddingham as the Great Barrier Chief out in the wild. Not here within this podcast. It broke containment, and Tom Waddingham, he's been attached to Tottenham. And I know Tottenham aren't going great, but boy, oh boy. Yes, he's now apparently on the fast track to Europe and to big things, which he should be, to be fair. Absolutely nothing about moving to a Premier League team and going into the loan farm could possibly go wrong. But the Great Barrier Chief has broken containment and is being used in the wild. And I think that it is a credit to Joe Simon. Yes, he's no longer with us, but we can certainly put this towards his memory.
It's funny with I wonder if the Great Barrier Chief, it's actually, if you think about it from like a Tottenham perspective, it's a great nickname for Ange. It's a great nickname for Tottenham fans to use about Ange, right? Tottenham fans, even though, like you say, just lost the North London derby, they're losing a bit of steam towards the end of the season, which is a bit unfair. But yeah, it's the Great Barrier Chief. I can see Ange commandeering that nickname, especially if they find out that that's what we call Tom Waddingham. But
if Tom
Josh,
Waddingham does go from bright orange to lily white, can we blame coral bleaching for that?
That is
he's gonna be Peter Dutton's favourite footballer if that happens. Absolutely no evidence that it's harming the stocks of the Great Barrier Chief. No, Mr. Dutton, we asked you about the Great Barrier Chief. Yep, he's moved to Tottenham. What a fantastic transfer.
Are we going to have Pauline Hanson coming out to Tottenham to prove that it's actually everything's fine? She's going to do like a storyline into this.
The poor boy, we've dragged him into the culture war like that.
Aaron,
it's another thing we can blame on woke.
Well, speaking of woke, can I blame for having a burner accounts found? Can I blame woke for having burner accounts found asking for a friend? Yeah, we're going to get onto burner accounts. Burner accounts are very exciting because it just always makes you think that you're getting an insight into what actually people think. This is why, like, a lot of people are quite critical of Robbie Slater's columns. I love Robbie Slater's columns because they give you an insight into what Graham Arnold is actually thinking. There's the press conference and there's what Robbie Slater writes, and that's what. So it's good. I like a bit of unfiltered. The other thing that's the account in question follows me on Twitter. It doesn't follow too many people. 48. I looked at it. It follows me, and I got very nervous. As soon as it was following.
Why should Stoll? You're getting called out in press conferences by the coach that is currently sitting second place in the A League. Why would you possibly be? How insane would I sound at the moment if I was to say I don't think that burner is actually anyone's burner? I think it's just a random Twitter account. People would look at me like I was about to swear. People would look at me like a rube. Like, isn't it just strange that an account has appeared and everyone just immediately clicks that it's a burner rather than giving anyone the benefit that it's out? What a league! Like, this is heady days.
I think the burners are exciting. There was the famous burner in the NBA, which people thought was, I think it was like a Philadelphia 76ers general manager or something, but it actually turned out to be his wife.
Yeah.
And his wife was kind of fighting back against criticism. So it maybe is not the person you necessarily think it is. Maybe the person close to the person you think, but it could be the person we think. It is very exciting. But I do love when there's a burner account because it just the A-League Twitter detectives that start searching and finding and looking. It just is a very exciting time, Josh. But Josh, what do you think? Do you think it is a burner account, or do you think it is just a random stranger?
Well, the comments are still telling me that my mic is too quiet. So hopefully that's better. I'm still trying to find my voice.
Can you not go to the top of the volume? What's the loudest you can go?
I can go all the way up here if you like, but
yeah,
I feel like that.
No, we like it. I mean, I
that
like
is
it. I don't know about
incredibly
you,
loud in my ears, so I'm not going to do that.
Just
take it.
Give us
your headphones. That's so good.
Give us a goal celebration, Josh. Maybe an Alamein player.
Dear. I've completely forgotten what you've asked me, Stoll. After all,
what made Australian football fun this week?
No, I asked you. Do you think it's a burner, or do you think it's just a random?
Well, I think it might be a burner, but I don't know that it's the person that we all think it is, because the name of the account is the name of a certain island. It's a lovely island, and it's an island that was mentioned by an A-League coach, but not the one that everybody is associating with this account.
I love that twist. Okay, so this is what everyone knows about, I love a good Law and Order episode, all right? So you start off with your prime suspect, and everyone thinks, oh yeah, it was definitely him, right? But then Josh knows that you need to actually do a twist. The second act is when you present, you go, the one that we thought it all, maybe it's not. Maybe it's this other guy who happens to be living on that said island, who also, believe, happens to be friends with the original suspect. So there we go. This is why you come to MAFFS. Obviously, we got 15 million people. There's a lot of reasons to love this show. Incredible analysis, just wonderful ideas, but also we really dig deep. We ask the questions that the woke podcasts are too afraid to ask. Right? And is it a former A-League coach? Is it Ernie Merrick, the disruptor? Maybe this is what he meant by disrupting Australian football. Did
the account say everything's fine, we just don't have the cattle? That might give it away.
Possibly. Look, there's a lot of speculation about, Josh's mic has been great for engagement. Actually, it's an engagement tool. We need Josh's mic to be turned up to Twitter.
Finally, I've unlocked the secret. We should have. It should have been impossible to hear me this whole time. That would have been a fan favorite.
Look, Josh, if you can, in your loudest voice possible, what made Australian football fun for you this week?
I loved that Aurelio Vidmar was watching the game that had every bearing on Melbourne City's finals chances in the bath.
and
that's the best place to watch A-League football. Triple screening, simultaneous kickoffs, in a nice hot bath.
It was. I think we need to talk about where is the best place to watch A-League football. Let us know in the comments. Where have you watched A-League football? Where has been the most comfortable? The bath, a great option. All right. I had a bath in Copenhagen when I was there, and it was freezing. And I hadn't had a bath in years. And let me tell you, that's a game changer. If you have access to a bath and you're not using it on the reg, mistake. In winter, it is absolutely fantastic. So shout out to Aurelio Vidmar. Shout out to Melbourne City. They snuck into the six. Very, when you talk about sneaking into the six, this was the most kind of sneaking in. Last game of the season, Jane McLaren at the back post, hasn't really played much this season, got the goal. They sneak in. The Wanderers thought that maybe they'd done it with the kind of epic 4-3 win that they had on Saturday night. But, and Western United even, had the ball in the back of the net and but it just didn't work out for them. But Melbourne City are in the six. And Josh, do you think they're going to do better in the finals than the Wanderers would have, for example?
I think it all depends on, how relaxed their head coach is. And that's why I'm proposing that we bring a hot tub onto the sideline so that Aurelio Vidmar can actually coach from the bath.
Is he fully nude, or is he in some kind of shorts? Or
look, let's have some decorum. I'm
what
talking
level?
Hot tub. I'm talking jets. I'm talking spa jets. I'm talking togs. He can have it budgie smugglers if he wants. Maybe something more modest with the the board shorts. But I just want him to be relaxed and ready to do his best work. Because imagine how much less abuse the fourth officials in this competition would cop if all of the A-League head coaches were sitting in a warm bath on the sideline. They'd be so relaxed about what's happening on the field. They wouldn't be yelling and ranting. They'd let the officials do their job, and I think everybody would be happier for it.
They would stay in the technical area more. I mean, it's hard to like quickly get out of the bath and yell.
Yeah, you'd have to dry yourself off before you went and ran up the touchline or got into it.
I love it. I think this is a great thing. We could get, I'm sure there's a big spa company that can sponsor it, because we had the Bunnings chairs for ages and that was kind of part of it. But yeah, I think, you know what, Joseph Ciccone is saying, I think the Big Bash has genuinely tried the hot tub before. Okay. Maybe we're second to the punch.
I don't think it was for the coaches. I think it was a special ticket. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. They've tried just about every gimmick in the book. Toros has unveiled my actual reason for advocating this. Could Josh also be in the tub as the sideline commentator? That would be a sweet gig, baby.
All right, we cross now to Josh's sidelines, Paris. Josh, how is it? Mate, it's great. Relaxing. Back to you. Just everything is just all good. Yeah, look, let us know where you've watched A-League games. Have you watched it in a hot tub? Have you watched it in the bath? I watched one game this season at a barbecue in Bilbao. That was one of the best places I watched it this year. So that was nice. There was also actually a bar here.
Did you watch it from the barge style, the famous Bilbao barge? They had to push off after they finally broke the curse and won a trophy.
No, I didn't watch it from there, but Bilbao is a great city, and if you get a chance to go there, go check it out. What made Australian football fun for you? Let us know in the comments. For me, what made Australian football fun this week, I think, was the fact that it is going to come down to the last day of the season. That the Mariners versus Adelaide game on Wednesday night is going to be an absolute cracker. Fill your bathtubs up, get watching, get in your hot tubs, watch wherever you like. But I can't remember the last time we had a title decided on the last day of the season. Maybe was it when John Aloisi was coaching the Roar in that kind of era? I think it was Adelaide United, Brisbane Roar, maybe Melbourne City were also up there from memory. 2015, 16.
I hate to do this to you, Stoll.
Oh, no.
It was 2022 when Melbourne City played Wellington at Amy Park, and Melbourne Victory's fans turned up to cheer on Wellington because Victory were top, and City couldn't overtake them with a draw.
Okay, well, look. On the podcast, I think I'm going to edit this part out so I don't look like a fool. And for the other 100 million people that are watching right now, if you could just all just forget that I just said that. But last day of the season,
you're all watching from the bath stall. They don't care.
Yeah, exactly. See,
everyone's really relaxed about this episode.
If you're frustrated with Australian football, just get in the bath. All right, and that would be my recommendation. To
you've caught
bar 75.
To be honest, you've caught me at the wrong time because that's what I've spent part of today doing, researching how teams won the Premier's Plate. Was there a match-winning goal? Who scored it? Etc. Etc.
Yeah. No, it's
because it's very easy to find who scored in the grand final and who won the Joe Marston medal. But your list of premiers doesn't have what game and date the title was clinched. And the reason this kind of was sparked in my thoughts was Leicester City won promotion back to the Premier League, but their fans were getting pelters because they got the biggest budget and they should never have been relegated to begin with, yada yada. But also they won promotion without playing. They won with their players watching around a TV, and it's like, well, this is how you won the Premier League as well. It's how you had some of the biggest moments in your club's history. Wouldn't you prefer to have done it on the field? It's like, we're getting promoted, we're happy, but I think fans trying to just take the gloss off Leicester's win were attacking them, saying, "Oh, you didn't do it yourselves."
Which A-League men's manager would you most like to see in the sideline bath? I think the more angry a sideline manager is, the more I want to see them in the bath. Like, the more I think it would just be like a struggle for them to like contain their anger but stay in a bath. So I don't know, fill in the blank on that one. But yeah, it's usually, speaking of the championship, Ipswich Town third on 90 points. Huge chance for Massillonga to get promoted. That'd be an incredible story. But yeah, we'll see. So this week, we've got Mariners versus Adelaide. How do you guys see it playing out? Do you see Mariners bottling it, or do you think this is just, Adelaide don't have much to play for? Is it going to be an Iran Kunda, this is why you should have picked me for the Ollie Rose finale. Josh, how do you see this playing out?
Well, I mean, the Mariners always bottle it. You know, the Master Foods sponsorship ensures that. Actually, no, there were no sauce bottles. I don't know if it was a couple of weeks ago because of the wind, which was heartbreaking. No, I think the Mariners are every chance of winning this, and at least that would exculpate you, Nick Stoll, who is the perennial predictor of Wellington Phoenix finishing ninth. Have we gotten into the Chiefy stuff yet?
No,
we have not. No, we haven't.
Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. I got very nervous when I woke up. Often what happens in Australian football is something happens during the day. I'm sleeping, obviously, it's the middle of the night here in Barcelona. And I got tagged in a bunch of videos and they've got Nick Stoll's photo up on the change room. I go, oh, Jesus Christ. What the hell's going on? And so
Stoll, when you see the headline, when you see the cell and you think, shit, am I the cell? How is that feeling? How is that feeling until you click and you scroll through and you don't see your name? How was that feeling for you?
I mean, it was extremely nerve-wracking. I did not want to be the reason, just the thought of my silly face just plastered up in the Wellington dressing room and like Alex Paulson and Costa Barbarouses just looking at me and being like, yeah, let's show this dickhead who thinks we should finish ninth. And the whole reason that I think they should finish ninth is based on something that Philip Rollo said on our previous podcast, where he said that he goes, it's really lazy when people do their preseason predictions. They always just put Wellington Phoenix ninth. And I thought it was hilarious because I've seen many A-League season predictions over the years, and it's true. The Wellington Phoenix often are just the forgotten club, whatever, ninth. We won't put them last because that's too harsh, but they'll just be somewhere near the bottom. No. I thought it was hilarious. Then I was like, wouldn't it be funny if they constantly finish ninth? I hope they only finish ninth. I hope this becomes the defining thing for them. Obviously, they've had a great season. Great to them. Great to Giancarlo Italiano, who, again, once said, also follows me on Twitter, also DM'd me once. Really great guy. I like what they've done there. But it's just, I just thought that, oh my God, has this ninth thing been so misconstrued that now I'm the number one enemy in Wellington? And I don't know, they hate me. But it turned out they hate some other random YouTuber, and that's totally fine with me. As soon as he said some YouTuber, I think, oh God, I'm being defined. First of all, to be defined as a YouTuber was just like, it's so gross. And then the second thing was, and in his preseason prediction, and I'm thinking, we didn't even do a preseason prediction. This is from like 2 seasons ago or something. Like, what video have they found? And then he goes, he predicted us to finish last. And I knew when he said that word, I knew I was innocent. I knew I would not be convicted of this crime. And that it was, yes, thank God that he said last and not ninth. Had he said ninth, I was dead to rights. Even if it wasn't me, everyone would have thought it was me. But he said last, and I thought, I had no idea who had predicted them last on a YouTube show and blah, blah. But you know what? Shout out to that guy who did put them last. He's a legend now. He's part of Australian football folklore history. But yes,
here's the thing: someone's got to finish there. If you want a clairvoyant, call the 1-800 number. I mean, no one goes, oh, the bookies odds had us finishing last at the end of the season. Waves fist at the TAB. So why is it different if someone puts their name and their face to it? I don't understand why that's been used as a motivator when the bookies odds is basically almost an aggregation of tens of thousands of people and where they're putting their money on who's going to finish where. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show the paucity of options available for the nobody believes in us, style of motivation. It's such the siege mentality is an oft-referenced term. Even Graham Arnold said we had to have a siege mentality when we went and faced Bangladesh and Palestine away. Something he actually said in a press conference earlier this cycle. So,
just on that, I've been adequately rope-a-doped. We've lost our first 3. Well, sorry, didn't lose. We've not scored in our first 3 Olympic qualifiers. We've finished second last in the group. We're technically out. But now I'm ready. This is where you hit me. I don't believe in you. This is where you prove me wrong. How are we qualifying for the Olympics? I'm exactly where you want me. I don't believe in you one iota. This is where you prove me wrong. Qualify for the Olympics now, please. You got me.
you know what? I think that was our problem. Our expectations were far too high for the Olyroos. We thought, hey, we'll score a goal. We'll at least get a win somewhere. Maybe we'll get out of our group.
To be fair, Stoll, in a written preview, I ran through the stats for Toure and the Quals and Brook and Milanovic and said that the attacking options and lack of goal scoring makes for glum reading, but maybe national team duty is the environment they need to start scoring again.
Yeah.
Why didn't they prove me wrong? What's going on? Is the
maybe
model broken? Have we been led astray? Is the model broken?
See, I know there's a lot of criticism of Tony Vidmar, but that's where he did go wrong. He didn't put your face up in the dressing room, explain that in your preview that you had. I would love to know actually what is the still that they've used of this guy in Wellington. Like, is it a flattering photo? Is it just him being like, those YouTube photos that you have to do for
like a Mr. Beast style thumbnail?
Like, oh no!
I mean, can I just say, like, Italiano's done this having a bit of fun in a good-natured way. You know how the tweet says, "There's nothing you can tweet that someone out there won't believe is sincere." I feel like it's the same with like some of the Phoenix fans who were like trying to dox this guy and hunt him down, and they were taking screenshots of certain points in the video, going, "Oh, look how smug he is, bros." And it's just like, oh my God, your coach was having a joke. Can you go along with it, please? Like, no. It's so if you want people to like unironically try to demonize this poor bugger, like the Phoenix fans are actually doing it. So I don't know, mission accomplished.
For people to not believe in you, they have to be paying attention to you in the first place. And that's totally something that the Wellington Phoenix, it's not a luxury they've always had. So just be thankful that someone cared enough to pick your last.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Stoll, the symptom you've described of, let's put the Phoenix ninth, is because people go to submit their ladder, and it's like, hang on, Nick, your ladder prediction's only got 11 teams, mate. You've missed one, and you're like, Jesus Christ, Adelaide, Brisbane, Carlton, Collingwood, Essendon, Fitzroy, Footscray. I can't remember which team Wellington. I forgot about Wellington.
You know what? MacArthur is the one that I always forget about. Look, great comments coming in. Joseph Ciccone, I refuse to believe if you want a clairvoyant, call a 1-800 number isn't a Barnaby. Josh Coyne. John Turner, oh my God, the game has turned into a fast. Teo Pellizzeri, journalism has died tonight. Yeah, great stuff. I mean, it does, you know what also, it did make me think. When Giancarlo Italiano said that he was hanging up a post of a YouTuber in the dressing room, I thought, geez, Australian football media is not what it once was. It used to be, Foz has picked us last, or Robbie Slater, or Bozza, or this, in the Age, or the Sydney Morning Herald. They write for the Sydney papers, right? It's all this. Now it's some guy on YouTube. Like, it's a little bit of a microcosm into the bigger problems that we have in Australia.
I just wonder which boomer coach next year is going to go into the dressing room and goes, "Fellas, this is Jenna Marbles, and she has picked us to finish last." And it's like, bro, she hasn't uploaded a video in like 7 years. This is PewDiePie, and this Swedish smartass thinks that we are going to finish last. Like, what's the most convincing? I know that iShowSpeed, loves Cristiano Ronaldo Sui, but which is like the highest profile YouTuber we think? Yeah. Even if he just gets spoon-fed it by his commenters or in like a paid Patreon post, who's the highest like audience YouTuber we can get? Who are those two stupid identical twin brothers that are covered in tattoos and have like the blonde dreadlocks? The Island Boys. Do you reckon we can get?
Are we talking about the boxers? What's the name? The one who went to the Japanese forest. Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. Yeah. No, Logan Paul amazingly has a lot more credibility than some of the lowest and slowest out there now. But like, who's like the highest audience YouTuber that MAFFS could potentially stealth get to do a ladder prediction, and then he has to put the Phoenix last as part of his ladder prediction for next season?
Oh, it's a great chat. What's funny is like with YouTube, it's like, there was like this common thread where we all kind of, even if we didn't particularly like them, we all knew who the big celebrities were, right? With YouTubers, man, I got no idea who some of these people are, right? So Charmander, the Andy, he says KSI, right? KSI turned up to Channel 9 once to promote the stupid Prime drink. By the way, Prime, the most disgusting drink I've ever tasted in my life, right? Anyway, They turned up. This was before Prime was widely available, whatever. And, they're with Carl Stefanovic and Sarah Abdo doing the Today Show. And there's 5,000 kids at North Sydney. And I was like, what are all these kids doing here at 7:50 in the morning? And they were all there to see KSI and that Logan Paul or Jake Paul or whichever one it was, right? And then, unbelievably, at the time, and speaking of the North London derby, KSI takes the bullhorn and says, "What do we think of Tottenham?" And they say shit, and then he goes, "Well, I can't remember how the chant goes. What do we think of shit? Tottenham? Oh, we hate Tottenham. We hate Tottenham." And the next thing was that's gone out on air at 8:05 in the morning or something on Australian TV. And Carl Stefanovic just standing next to him goes, "That's great. That's fantastic." Tottenham on Australian TV. How times have changed. Joseph Ciccone says Thogden. Don't know who that is.
I found one. So okay. Mr. Beast, second most subscribed YouTube channel, most subscribed primary English language YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Went to Kenya and built a bunch of wells to provide fresh drinking water for people in Kenya. He's big into humanitarian projects. Mr. Beast, this is an open plea.
Okay. You know what?
Come and sponsor the National Second Division, Mr. Beast. There's a football humanitarian project here in Australia that needs a naming rights partner. We need to fly teams all around the country from Sydney to Melbourne and Melbourne to Sydney. And we need you, Mr. Beast. We need you to come and sponsor the National Second Division. Please help us.
Here's my idea. Next season, we'll do our A-League preview, right? We'll record 12 different versions or 13, I guess, for the Auckland team.
13.
Every team, maybe 14. Hey, maybe Canberra can come in. Maybe 13. Maybe Newcastle goes out. Who knows? We don't know what's happening next season. But we say that every single team is going to finish last. So we record one version when we go Sydney FC, disaster. If he doesn't know what he's doing, last. Boom. Then we go, Wanderers, Rude, disaster, what's going on there? Boom, last.
Rude, so you're an optimist. Okay.
Okay. Insert coach. Coach here, right? So you go with that, and then you hope. We just see which club goes, these MAFFS bastards. Pit them up in the dressing room, inspire. Think the other thing I always thought about
is this genius ambush marketing to get us pinned up in the dressing room of every club in the A-League?
100%. This would be incredible. And the other thing I thought, which was hilarious, was the guy coached Watch Football or whatever his name was, who did get pinned up in the Wellington dressing room. Like the fact that probably like Giancarlo Italiano had to explain to the players who this guy was and that who they had to be angry at. Like it's just a kind of a funny thing, If Boston picks you to be last, no one needs that explained to them. But if this guy does, it's like, okay, and sorry, who is he? Like, why do we care about him? Okay.
No. The funny thing is, Stoll, the Wellington team think that Aaron from Coast Watch Football is Mr. Beast. They think he has 250 million YouTube subscribers.
That's what they've told him. They've done it. Hearing Pellizzeri say Cristiano Ronaldo Sui has made football fun this week. God, I hate that dude, by the way. I hate that. Not you, Aaron. What's his name?
What, me?
Did you two someone in a charity game, Teo? Kakar?
Oh, I would never do that. I would never do that to Kakar.
Not sure the A-League even has a budget to get shipmates. I think their price might have dropped lately. Didn't they get in trouble? John Turner. This is the great answer. Arj Barker. Yes, that's who we should be getting. Arj Barker. Arj Barker needs to kick out a breastfeeding Central Coast Mariners fan or something, and just the Mariners are going to finish last. That's the best way to do it. But yeah, it should be a thing. Look, this has gone a little bit off the rails. But I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? We got plenty of topics. Sydney FC.
I like this from Daniel. Sorry, all 14 versions of the pod will have to have Wellington in ninth. Commit to the bid.
That would be excellent. Even for the thing we think they're going to finish last, but we only think there's going to be 9 teams in the competition by the end of the season, so they're 9. Oh man, I don't know. Look, guys, let us know in the comments what you want us to talk about, because it's coming towards the end of the show.
Just let's go back to Sydney 7, Perth 1, because. Yes. I listened to Alan Stadgich's press conference in full at the end of the game. I mean, he was getting grilled about a bunch of different things: ownership change, players coming off contract, circumstances around, people's job security and whether or not they're, able to play their best football under those circumstances. None of them actually diagnosed the real problem. Let me give you the key stat. On February 24, I commentated the Perth Glory men's team for the last time this season. Since then, they have played 9, won 0, drawn 2, lost 7, scoring 11, and conceding 31. Quite simply, they have gone off the edge of the cliff ever since I stopped commentating their games. Sorry, Perth. I don't choose whether or not I'm doing your games, but
100%.
clearly you've missed me.
And so their games were so fun when you were commentating it. You know, I know this is very much correlation, not causation, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter on that.
Well, we don't know for sure. I mean, they're trying to diagnose the problem. Dr. House here is giving them maybe an alternative theory.
Maybe Stajic was saying in like the pre-game talk, he goes, look, Teo's commentating tonight. He never believes in Perth. He always thinks we're not going to do well. Go out there and prove him wrong. And then, a few weeks later, it's like, all right, look, Teo's not really commentating, so I don't know how to motivate you guys anymore. I guess you're just going to have to just give up. And kind of feels like they did that, Josh. It's been a rough end to the season for Perth.
I think this result is a huge misunderstanding, to be honest. I mean, Sydney, they saw Alan Stajic on the sideline. They thought, this guy's stressed out. We need to do something for him. And so they gave Perth Glory a bath. Unfortunately, not in the literal sense.
There was a bit of good news for Perth Glory fans this week, because you know what? I love a bit of memorabilia. And we saw this week, someone wrote in to MAFFS this week to show us this. This is from Chicken Treat Fan Club, Grouse Grant. Bet none of you have a chicken treat bag signed by Adam Taggart. Now, Adam Taggart has had an incredible season, right? An incredible season. You got to give it, but Taggart's been amazing, right? And then to get the chicken treat bag signed by Adam Taggart, I love this. This was sensational. So I want to see more iconic things signed by A-League players that are related to the club in some way. Chicken Treat obviously being the former sponsor of Perth Glory. Can we get a pissant signed by one of the Adelaide United players? A literal pissant. Can we get a brick from Western United's newly built or to-be-built stadium signed by Don Aloisi? Can we get a burner account signed by Margarita? What can we do? Let us know in the comments. What can we do? Objects to be signed by A-League players which represent it. You know what? I would love to see. Oh my God. Back in the Gold Coast United days, one of the funniest things that ever happened was when Miron Blydberg refused to go to a press conference and he sent a cardboard cutout of himself to be at the press conference. Absolutely. If you can get someone from Brisbane Roar or Gold Coast United to sign the Miron Blydberg cutout, that's what I need to see. Look, the comments are coming in. Perth only had 8 players in the books because they're clearing cap. Perth only had 8 players on the books next season because they're clearing cap space to offer Harley Reid a 10-year deal. You know what? Ben Smith is the man in Perth, and I reckon that's a great shout. But Charmander the Andy, Twitter in dark mode, please. I don't know. It's all right. So I guess it is night over there. Sorry about that, Charmander. But yeah, look, rough. Lockie Flanagan, Melbourne Heart, wheelie bin signed by Orlando Engar. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Lockie. This is why you should be on the show permanently. I think it's the first time I realized that. No.
Are we crossing live to Lockie at the Victory Medal tonight?
Is the Victory Medal on tonight?
Well, it's the Mariners. Interesting, the Mariners play on Wednesday, and they are having their medal night tonight as well. Okay. So it's always like, talk about a nobody believes in us. Popovich and Mark Jackson should have gone into the rooms and said, the club administration believe in you lot so little, they have put the medal night on the Monday after the final home and away round. You go out there and make finals and prove them wrong.
I do want to know at the Victory Medal night is the violinist coming out? Surely.
Oh no, the big question, Stoll, is DJ Brock's going to get on the decks again?
Oh, surely
he goes out with a bang.
By the way, there was actually I love Brox, and we talked about how great he was. There was nothing funnier than him this week coming onto the field and immediately the Victory conceded a goal. The fans cheering, celebrating. Brox, what a legend. They're like 1 minute into there.
To be fair, Stoll, I actually thought when they brought him on, he didn't get the rousing reception because so many Victory fans were going, no, this isn't testimonial minute. This isn't the end of stoppage time. It's 15 minutes to go. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't think I mean, in theory, that wasn't I know it was a dead rubber for victory. They've ended up where they were going to end up on the ladder regardless. But, I mean, I didn't think that was a sentimental sub. I think that was Tony Popovich was standing there thinking, what is Tony Popovich cooking as he subbed on Lee Broxham?
Yeah, look, Simon says, should he have started the game perhaps and then subbed off to applause? What do you reckon? Like,
well, what minute was it? John Terry? Was it John Terry who insisted that he gets subbed off at the 26-minute mark? So he started a game and then got subbed off after 26 minutes in his final game.
John Terry is a wanker stories. There's a million of them, right? The full kit when he lifted the trophy for the Champions League but didn't play against Bayern. But
careful, Stoll, that's catching on. Careful.
There was one where I think it was John Terry and Andy Cole did a photo shoot. You know, I think they're doing some kind of media thing together. And John Terry had to wear all his Premier League medals, and Andy Cole just turned up in normal clothes and was like, I'm good. And then the other one this week was John Terry on some like motivational, podcast, how to manage whatever, all these podcasts which are like,
it was up front with Simon Jordan.
Oh, yeah, exactly. What you need to do is you need to get a good night rest. Oh, wow, amazing, incredible knowledge, right? And then so he told the story of how him and some of the senior players got put in like economy class to go on a plane or something. And then some other players got put in first class. And he was going to refuse to leave unless he got in first class. And he was saying it like, that's what leadership's about. Just being an absolute prick to everyone below you.
He also basically said that was what undercut the regime of Andre Villas-Boas, that he lost that particular standoff with John Terry. And he was never respected again after that. The comments are on fire, by the way. Joseph says electrical tape signed by Costa Barbarousis. and Lockie says the Mariners with the pre-premiership hangover. Fabulous.
And also, how about John Turner with the exclusive? The 5 p.m. change for the Melbourne Derby wasn't actually your P's Orthodox Easter, but rather fit into Evangeline the violinist's bookings. Yeah,
I'm fairly certain Evangeline is also observing Orthodox Easter. I think we're killing two birds with one stone there.
Yeah, Christos Anesti. Anyway, geez, I've totally lost my train of thought. We've barely talked about Sydney FC scoring.
I wanted to talk about Lee Broxham.
Yeah, go on.
So I was at his pre-retirement press conference, talking about his career and everything. And the funniest part of it was when they were getting some photos afterwards, and they got a match ball in so he could hold the ball, and he's like posing with his family, the triplets, obviously, his wife is there. And photographers getting in to, do various, poses, kind of sitting on the ground with the ball, and then like getting the, the big Photoshop thing that they'd done for, Broxham with all these pictures of him holding up championship titles in the background on the screen and everything. And he has a close inspection of this match ball that they've used as a prop. And there's like a faint Sharpie mark on it. And he says, this says Newcastle Jets on it. So Victory have stolen a match ball from the Jets. That's why they're in such dire straits.
Hang on, Josh. This is a very nerdy response to your anecdote here. Who was the latest Victory player to score a hat-trick away to Newcastle, who may have claimed the match ball, brought it home with them on the plane, and then just at training, just chucked it in with the rest of the balls, and it's been circulating there ever since.
Oh, geez, that's great.
It felt so like state league. It felt so Sunday league kickabout. Like you'd accidentally taken a match ball from the other team. But I just thought it was so perfect because Lee Broxham is such a humble guy, and he was obviously like quite uncomfortable with the entire staff from the Victory office came down to like clap him onto the pitch as he walked out with his family. It was just like really lovely, but he was also like, no, not me, not for me. So like I asked him about marking Emil Heskey because I think that's one of the highlights of his career, that we had this kind of size mismatch and he still made it work. And he said, well, he did score 2 goals that day. So, maybe it wasn't the best decision to put me on him. So he's always just like got that grounded air to him. And I also thought it was nice that he said, it's important that we don't just acknowledge like the North End fans. Like I've got like kind of a special connection with the South End, which is, people don't know, like a bit of a different style of support. where it's a bit more English style, kind of ad hoc chanting rather than the capo and everything. And they always chant Lee Brox and Ballon d'Or when he goes up, warms up in front of them, which is just one of the great A-League chants.
And I think the little tidbit that I asked you to ask, Josh, is Lee Broxham may yet return one day to play against Melbourne Victory in an Australia Cup tie, because he has not totally retired from all football, which to me suggests that his arm could be twisted to come back one day. And whether it's his home club Knox City or whether it's somewhere else, maybe one day on an Australia Cup run, Lee Broxham could yet, in his 40s, admittedly, line up against the Melbourne Victory again one day.
Lee Broxham would be one of the perfect park footballer players, because the amount of times that people don't turn up and people have to fill in for positions, no one has had a career better at filling in for positions than Lee Broxham. So, Lee, I think you might be a park football legend. Could be your future. But sorry, Josh, sorry to interrupt.
No. I don't know that he hasn't closed the door entirely, but he did say, I don't have any motivation to pursue that at this point. So it wasn't a resounding yes either. But Adrian Leia came out of retirement to play for Dandenong City with Carl Valeri. And Brendan Santalab as well was in that team. So, this never say never. Like, there's going to be offers. And I'm sure if he's got the time to do it, Lee Broxham would make a fabulous sort of.
He strikes me as the sort of guy that, even for one night only, is a guest marquee. If a team, say a team outside the top NPL makes the round of 32 in the Australia Cup, they know they've bitten off more than they can chew. That's maybe where you ring Lee Broxham and say, "Hey, come play for us for one night only."
I think if that's the case, I think he should redo the mohawk that he was rocking season 2 and 3, the shaved Mohican thing that he had. Yeah. I think that's the night to bring it out for one last hurrah.
Archie Thompson came out of retirement and played here in Spain. He played in about the 6th division Spain and went viral because the coach could not understand what he was doing, and Archie could not understand what the coach wanted him to do. So Lee, maybe there's an opportunity there for you. Yes, exciting times. Look, one thing I did want to mention that made Australian football fun for me this week, and a little bit of sincerity, was the Mariners making the AFC Cup final. It's at the start of this season, we didn't really know exactly what the AFC Cup was, and it's a bit of a new competition for all of us, and strange thing. But I love a Australian team making a run in Asia, whether obviously it's great if it's the Champions League. We saw it back in the day with Adelaide and how exciting that was. The Wanderers, of course, winning it. But, to the Mariners to do it, and also, with the Mariners, you kind of got to, what they are doing is putting to shame a lot of the other clubs and a lot of the other, I would say, bigger clubs, because the amount of excuses that we hear from every other club, we lost this player, and we got this injury, and we couldn't, we don't have the cattle, and and we didn't have a horse to come on in the 90th minute or whatever. But the fact that the Mariners they've lost, Montgomery came in, then he went off, and then, they had to get a new coach in. They lost, if you look back at last season, all their star players, basically, Tulio, Cumdog, Garan Quol, all these amazing players. Sammy Silvera went off. They lost great players. They lost coaches. Even this season, they've lost players, and they've still managed they're probably going to do the double. They're probably going to do, and this is also the other thing. They could have made the excuse, and some people making the excuse for them. With the traveling and the midweek games, it's so tough, to challenge in the A-League. And it just puts to shame all the other coaches, all the other teams that have for years been using these excuses, and hopefully no more, because we can point to the Mariners and say, well, they managed to do it. They lost players. They had coach turnover. They've had insecurity in the past in terms of finances and that type of thing. And they've managed to do it. And, the community's on board as well. So I think the Mariners have done fantastic, and shout out to them. It made Australian football fun this week.
And Stolt, you'll enjoy it even more because the final is at 6 p.m. Barcelona time. Not the greatest time for Australia, but at least you will be able to watch it in prime time, because the final in Oman will be at 2 a.m. Australian time or 6 p.m. in Barcelona.
You know what? Thanks to the organisers for that. I appreciate that. 6 p.m. Honestly, it's a little late in terms of usually I like to be doing stuff by 6 p.m. But look, it'd be great. I love that the Mariners Adelaide game is at 10 a.m. my time. That's perfect for me. Just before school, just, watch 2 hours of the A-League, while I'm having breakfast. That's an amazing thing. But guys, look, we're going to wrap it up soon. But is there anything you wanted to plug? Is there any final thoughts you wanted to give, Josh?
Well, with this decider, and this may have a short shelf life based on when people listen to this, but Adelaide versus Central Coast to decide the Premier's place. Have we confirmed that Irankunda is available, Teo?
Yeah, we have. He is not suspended. Yep.
Good.
But do you think he'll be picked for, is he emotionally mature enough to play in such a high-pressure game?
I think you'll find with Adelaide out of the finals, a certain handbrake has been decompressed, and that's why they were so bloody brilliant against Brisbane. Handbrake off, go out and play freestyle football, everyone having fun.
Are we going to see the final matchup of Nestor Irankunda versus Jacob Farrell?
Oh, the Ali versus Fraser of Australian football. The thriller in Gosford. The thriller in the palm trees. The rumble in the not-so-jungle. It's a great shout. It's going to be very exciting. Look, we should also give a shout-out as well. Is Harry Kill made the ACL final. And great that Harry Kill has done something well that, about ACL, it's got to be an issue there, but amazing achievement, and also achievement that, and he said it himself, that comes off the back of the work that Ange and Kevin Muscat did. So, good little sign for Australian coaches. We also need to talk about Totti in Australia. I've seen his photos been popping up everywhere. His facial expressions doesn't suggest that he's having the greatest of times here. It seems.
What do you mean? He's got a GWS Giants jersey, customized.
Yeah. There's a big sound from the west of this town, Stoll.
Well, I mean, I think what's funny about seeing the photos is it does seem like he is like, when someone who is from Australia, but they've got like an immigrant family and they return to that immigrant family, and the immigrant family is so excited to kind of see them. They're back in the country of their ancestry, and they're just presenting them with all these gifts and speaking to them in a language they don't quite understand. And there's just a lot of like nodding and being like, oh, okay, thank you. Okay, this is a bit weird, but sure. And then, okay, you've got to meet this relative, you've got to meet this person. That's kind of what it seems like from the outside that the Totti in Australia experience has been like. I did see that Totti went to Totti's in Bondi, which is one of the great symbolisms of gentrification of Bondi, because before the restaurant Totti was in there, that was the Royal Hotel. I know this because I grew up around the corner from it, and that was the scummiest pub in Bondi. That was where the absolute dregs of society went, with all the greatest respect. I remember going in there for one of my first beers and being like, my first legal age drinking beer, going in there and just being like, geez, this place is depressing. It was just gamblers. It was a kind of a relic of an old Bondi, when you could buy a house in Bondi, a 4-bedroom house for $300,000 or whatever you could back in the day. But yeah, it was amazing to see Totti's at Totti's in Bondi. But what do you guys made of the Totti experience?
There is a big sound from La Dispoli. Now, is that West Rome, or is West Rome a little bit closer to the center of the city? I will admit, I don't know, but it's the sound of the mighty La Dispoli.
Yeah.
Lockie says, is there a suburb of Western Sydney called Seven Hills or something?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Photos of Totti at my gym dropped an hour after I left. Imagine Francesco Totti walking in on your chest press. It's a good shout. I think Lockie also just wants to let us know that he's been going to the gym. Matt Coleman says, shame he didn't go to Totti's. Gary didn't go to Totti's in Rozelle on Friday night. Yes, he would have seen a bit of Australian culture history. An NRL journalist getting thrown into a tree. Nothing sums up Australian sports media. What happened this week? One of the top NRL journalists got thrown into a tree while being incredibly pissed. Okay, it's an interesting media landscape you've got there. I don't know if that's going to get talked on the press conference.
I do have some exclusive news, Stoll.
Yes.
So I have my sources tell me that after all of the high-powered meetings that Francesco Totti has had, and we know he's the agent of one Christian Volpato, who we're all sweating on his international future, and I can
sweating is generous.
I can confirm now that Francesco Totti has made the deal. There's a handshake, wink and a nod agreement for Christian Volpato to commit to playing forward pocket for the Greater Western Sydney Giants next year.
We've done it. We've got him. We've got him. Australian football is saved. It was a big sound. Oh man, incredible. Yeah, that was the story. The big meet, the sit down. There was going to be like Heat with De Niro and Pacino, Arnie and Totti.
And as part of the deal, the Crows will be sending Josh Rochelle to play for Sassuolo upon their relegation to Serie B.
As Volpato, as even like I know people pump him up. Has he done anything yet? Like I'm still waiting for this big like explosion of talent.
I think you'd have to ask a Primavera expert, Stoll, but there's a few around.
Exactly. Look, Joseph Ciccone says I hate seeing working class Bondi be gentrified. Yeah, look, I know what you're saying. One thing I will say about it: Bondi once was the heroin capital of Australia. So there you go. Back in the 60s and 70s, if you wanted to get smack, head to where Totti headed to this week.
We're not suggesting that's why Totti's in the country.
No, of course not. Of course not. Look, guys, any final thoughts, any final plugs, any things going on this week that you want to give a shout out to, Josh?
Well, I would tell you which game I'm commentating the NPL on weekend, but I actually don't know yet, so can't plug anything for you. I did post a lovely free kick that a certain Irishman by the name of Owen Stokes scored against South Melbourne, so you can go check that out.
Okay, very, very nice. Yeah, well, I saw that goal. It's actually really good. Teo, anything to plug?
Just watch the games that are on. It's trophy week for me, so I'm looking forward to having some fun, and make sure you're part of the 15 million people that subscribe to this podcast.
We should say haven't really got into it, but Sydney FC City in the A-League Women's Grand Final is going to be sensational, and then you can obviously catch Dub Zone as well after that, I presume, Teo?
No, show finished a month ago. It's all right stuff.
Well, thank God this isn't live. Good God. All right. Well, look, guys, it's been a pleasure. Tune in next week. We'll be back 8:30. Who knows? You know, it's good. It's always fun. MAFFS keeps you on your toes, but keep living the MAFFS creed. Keep enjoying it. Have a bath. Touch grass. Enjoy the game. Celebrate it for what it is. Make fun of it for what it's not. Find the burner accounts. Expose them. Bring them to light. Do more for this country. Enjoy it. It's going to be fun. We'll see you next week.